Alright, it's Ring of the Dork and I'm the Hawk. Ring of the Hawk is the show where I watch back a wrestler's short run with a company, and at the end I shove them a final grade to see if they can do the JOB to the HAWK. And of course, if you know a wrestler who can do the JOB to the HAWK, shove their name down in the comments, Jack! Alright, it's Ricky Ortiz. Can we just skip this one, please? Ricky Ortiz billed at 6'4" and 250 pounds, so he seemingly had some credentials to make his way in the WWE. A former professional footballer who got started relatively late in wrestling. Well, he was in his late 20s. He began wrestling for the WWE Developmental in 2006, but he was called up to ECW in 2008. And let me tell you, squad, I seriously hated this run. Match 1, ECW, Armando Estrada versus Atlas Ortiz. He has an okay look, but his attire is just like he crawled out of the gym. Very slow start here as they trade holds and the crowd die of boredom. Atlas holds a side headlock on for ages. This is not how you introduce new talent. Atlas starts hitting shoulders in the corner, which makes Estrada spray in his nappy. Atlas misses his next shoulder and he smacks the ring pole. Estrada is super proud of a flying armbar. He moves on to a snap mirror and a stomp on him. Estrada asks the crowd how they like him now. Shades of Bob Holly. Nothing's happening. This is one of the most boring debuts in the history of wrestling. Estrada almost makes him tap. Admittedly, the crowd are behind Ortiz though. Estrada takes him down by his haircut. Why is this still going? These two guys look terrible. They can barely run the ropes. They have an ugly collision. Estrada applies another armbar. I'm dying. How many of these matches are there? Atlas finally throws Estrada with an armbar. Not once, not twice, but thrice, and it sure wasn't nice. The back body drop also looks bad. Atlas goes crazy, shaking his face. He gets a 2 off a dropkick. Then Ortiz just wins the backslide. Wow, what a debut. He didn't hit a single move, and at least 2 things he did were botched. This was one of the worst debuts in Ring of the Hawk history. Not only was it bad, but it was boring. And that's the biggest sin for the Hawk. Shove it. Match 2. Chavo Guerrero with Bam Neely. I nearly smashed my computer. He takes on Ricky Ortiz. No longer Atlas Ortiz, which I actually think was a better name. Let's be real, this is going to be better than the last match. Yeah, he hits a scoop slam in the first minute, so it already beats the last match. Ortiz now spends an embarrassing amount of time trying to power Chavo up for a gorilla press slam. He does follow that with a diving shoulder block, so that's something. Chavo shuts him down with a stun gun. The match slows down for a bit with Chavo in full control before Ortiz powers him into the corner. That doesn't last long though, and Chavo drop toe holds him into the corner. Chavo makes a pin, and Neely holds Chavo's feet on the ropes, but the ref spots it and DQs Chavo. Wow, never seen someone actually get DQ'd for that before. I know it's against the rules, but we all know that that's incredibly soft. Bam Neely hits Ortiz with a full Nelson slam and Chavo hits a frog splash and it ends. Great way to build up a new character. In the match there was slightly more to like it, but I can't work out what style of wrestler he's supposed to be. He doesn't seem very strong or very fast. He does have some charisma though, so it's a D. Match 3, tag match. Chavo Guerrero and Bam Neely versus Evan Bourne and Ricky Ortiz. Ortiz is aggressive and he smashes both the heels to the outside. Bam Neely and Ortiz square off. What a spectacle. He doesn't do anything and Evan Bourne comes back in. Ortiz returns to the match with an assisted diving shoulder tackle for a 2. Matt Striker provides a fun fact on commentary that Ortiz was the only WWE superstar to play in the XFL. What a claim to fame. The heels cheat and Neely wins. He gives Ortiz a corner clothesline and he nearly wins again. Chavo gets back in with a punch to the gut. Chavo can't keep Ortiz down, who back suplexes him. He slowly crawls at Evan. This looks so dumb. Hurry up. Neely remembers to come in and Ortiz tags Evan. Ortiz awkwardly returns to the match, trying to throw Chavo out the ring. It ends when Evan rolls up Neely, and thank God it's over. Horrible and boring, it's an S. So far, this is one of the worst starts I've ever seen. Match 4, Ricky Ortiz. The towel makes its debut. Rally up. They actually handed out 3 towels to the crowd before this match, and he takes on Gavin Sean Spears. Who else is going to randomly turn up? This is wild. This new towel has given Ortiz some energy. He wins pretty quickly with a spinning back elbow, a side slam, and his new finisher, the Big O. It's essentially just a wacky splash. It's the most the crowd have reacted. Maybe it's because you gave him 3 towels, but it's a C. Match 5, Ricky Ortiz versus Ryan Braddock of TNA fame. I'm kidding, he didn't have any fame there either. He looks like a deformed version of Mike Awesome. Nothing happens for a while until Ortiz smashes Braddock down. Ortiz suplexes him for a 2. Braddock smashes him in the corner and climbs to the top, where he falls on top of Ortiz with his knee. You'd think that would be a finisher, but it's not. It looked quite devastating. Don't you just love when there's a rest hold when hardly anything has happened? Ortiz makes his comeback to a silent crowd. He nails the spinning back elbow and a dropkick. He gets a 2 off a power slam. Ortiz flies from the second rope now with the shoulder tackle, and the Big O connects, and it's over. Ricky Ortiz is still undefeated. Just a riddle of the road kind of match, it's a D. Match 6, 4 shows later, 6-man tag, Miz, Morrison and Mark Henry versus Evan Bourne, Ricky Ortiz and Matt Hardy. Okay, so he's actually in there with some bigger names in the main event now. Ortiz gets tagged in with the Miz. He works with Evan to hit a go behind slam into Evan's dropkick. Miz powers Ortiz into the heels corner and here's Morrison. Ortiz shoulder tackles him. He also flips Morrison out of the corner into a 2 count. Evan has the tag now, but he soon brings Ortiz back with Morrison. Together they punt him in the back. Nothing else happens and Ortiz tags him back. Morrison ends up getting isolated for a very long time and it's Ortiz who loses his team's advantage and the big man is in with a brutal clothesline to Ortiz. The heels are all over Ortiz now like a bad shirt. Morrison can't make him tap out of a leg scissors though and Orton powers him out of that with an electric chair drop. Ortiz still can't make the tag. Miz stomps on his afro time and time again. It's all irrelevant because Ortiz does manage to tag his best friend Evan. He probably wishes he didn't though as Henry hits the world's strongest slam on Evan for the win. Other than the electric chair drop, there was just nothing here. It's an S. Match 7, 8-man tag, CM Punk, Ortiz, Kingston and Bourne versus The Miz, Morrison and Legacy. Ortiz joins this one against Morrison with a shoulder tackle. Once again, he struggles to lift Morrison up for a press slam and he tags his best friend Evan. The match breaks down and Ortiz hits stereo dropkicks along with Kofi. Evan wrestles most of this match for his team. It's frustrating, but competitors can rarely stand out on Ring of the Hawk in these multi-man environments. The crowd only want to see Punk anyway. Punk is more popular than a towel, can you believe it? The crowd eventually get their wish. The match breaks down and Ortiz dives out of the ring onto Cody and The Miz. The heels cheat though and Morrison beats Punk with a Moonlight Drive. Can anything be done to make Ortiz less generic? I don't know, a D. Match 8, 4 shows later, Ricky Ortiz versus John Davis. Just a squash match. A squash match where Ortiz looks like he's going to lose for most of it. Ortiz does manage to hit a suplex, a back suplex and a shoulder tackle, and the Big O connects for the 3. I fail to see the point in giving him 1 minute of TV time if he's just going to keep disappearing for 4 shows. You might as well just go back to him being a debuting superstar each time because people are going to forget who he is. His winning streak is irrelevant, he's not beaten anyone notable by pinfall. It's an S. Match 9. Jesus Christ, 4 shows later. Oh, not this goofball. Jack Swagger versus Ricky Ortiz. Well, I guess if Ortiz can win this one, it's a bit more of an established name to have beaten. I think Tiffany likes towels. Both guys are undefeated here. Ortiz does make fun of Swagger's stuttering before the match, so that's points up for Ortiz. Swagger keeps out wrestling him. Ortiz eventually floors him with a straight up smack. Ricky hits a couple of drop kicks, it's kind of basic stuff. We come back from an advert break to see Swagger hitting a flapjack. They exchange arm holds until Swagger hip tosses him away. Ortiz isn't deterred and he has a flurry of offense with the spinning elbow, another dropkick and the diving shoulder tackle. Jack Swagger does not get given a Big O and bails from the ring. Swagger smashes him back down with a clothesline and gets him back in the ring. He beats Ortiz with a gut wrench powerbomb. It went 3 minutes and it was boring and lacked energy. It's a D just for making fun of Swagger. Ricky Ortiz now gives Tiffany a Christmas present. It's a towel. Punk says he will win the Slammy Award for this moment right here. Punk's sarcasm officially kills the towel gimmick. Match 10, 6-man tag. Miz, Morrison and Jack Swagger versus Kofi Kingston, Ricky Ortiz and CM Punk. Speaking of go to sleep, this one sent me to sleep. Everybody in this match is established as some sort of talent except Ortiz. He just doesn't feel like he belongs here. He just got no business in there. He gets to fight Swagger again, he hits drop kicks and a shoulder tackle. He also hits a belly to back suplex. A new move is added to his arsenal here of a missile dropkick. The pin is broken up. Randomly, Ortiz tries a half-hearted springboard into the ring. Swagger just boots him and hits the gut wrench powerbomb for the 3. It's over. Any chance Ortiz had of getting over has officially died. Plus he looked dumb here. It's an S. But no, it's not over. The Hawk is forced to continue. Match 11, 5 shows later. Jobber Ricky Ortiz versus Jobber Adam Evans. Ortiz throws him over straight away. He starts throwing headbutts. He's finally putting his big head to good use. Ortiz hits a back break and tries to figure out what to do next. He decides on 2 desperate looking elbow drops. Then he does hit an admittedly pretty devastating looking back suplex. He does a 3-point stance and hits a football tackle. The Big O now features the rally towel. Yeah, I guess this wasn't that bad, it just shouldn't be match 11. He tells the crowd to rally up. It's a C for this squash match. Match 12, the Boogeyman versus Ricky Ortiz. Ricky cuts a promo. He says, you don't need to eat worms to get the fans behind you. All you need to do is rally up. The Boogeyman clotheslines him out of the ring, and Ricky Ortiz leaves because he's scared to face the Boogeyman. So he's a heel now then, is he? It's an S. Match 13, 6 shows later. No wonder he can't get any momentum. This is ridiculous. Battle Royal to qualify for Money in the Bank. You couldn't make this one up. Ortiz lasts 5 seconds before the Great Khali makes the first elimination. It just gets worse and worse. Match 14, Raw Battle Royal. Can he better his last terrible Battle Royal performance? The ring announcer forgets his name and awkwardly has to pause for ages. Not off to a good start. Well, he does last longer this time, but despite that, he's still the first one eliminated by the Big Show. No, he's not the big run ender this time. The run ended ages ago. Now the bizarre decision is made to draft Ortiz to SmackDown. Match 15, SmackDown. Jeff Hardy. You all know what's coming. Wait for it. Wait for it. He takes on Ricky Ortiz. Rally up. And I wasn't talking about rally up when I said wait for it. Ortiz hits a hip toss and a shoulder tackle for a 2. He does it again and desperately hits jumping knee drops for another 2. Ortiz hits him with some devastating headbutts, but apparently not devastating enough. Jeff blocks the Big O with his knees. It's not over though because Ortiz counters Hardy with a snap slam. Jeff finally wakes up and realises he's losing to a jobber and he kicks Ortiz into the corner and hits the falling dropkick in the corner. Ortiz is nailed with the whisper in the wind as the crowd come to their feet. There's the twist of fate, and Jeff Hardy climbs to the top. Bang! Swanton bomb for the 3. Dude, I was watching SmackDown the other day, man. And this dude. Wait, it was Jeff? But you're my friend. Man, Jeff, when are you coming back to North Carolina to hang out with your stoner friend? It sucked for now, it sucked forever, and it sucks Sonny Siaki's ass. Why did they call him up? Match 16, 6-man tag. Benjamin, Haas and Ortiz versus John Morrison and Crime Time. Shelton is scared to face Morrison, so Ortiz will start. Historically, it's not gone very well against Morrison. Ortiz does some weird dancing. Apart from that, Morrison dominates him and tags Shad. Shad hits the towel with a big back body drop and a scoop slam before JTG comes in. Shad creatively slams his own partner on top of Ortiz. Morrison comes straight in after that with a break-dancing leg drop for a 2. JTG rejoins with a sunset flip. Ortiz's teammates scream at him with anger and Haas does get the tag. After a few minutes, Ortiz does return with JTG and hits a hammerlock slam for a 2. He can't manage anything else and he tags Shelton. This time he doesn't rejoin and John Morrison beats Charlie Haas for Starship Pain. Surprised it wasn't Ortiz who took the loss. Yet another waste of time. Match 17, SmackDown. 4 shows later, Shelton, Haas and Ortiz once again. I love how Shelton looks at the stupid towel. And they take on R-Truth and Crime Time. Why is Ortiz starting? God help us. JTG hits him with a Goldust-esque smack and a hard big knockdown. It's not any easier with Shad in there as well. Ortiz manages to dodge a big boot and sweeps the 3 leg. Ortiz pushes Shad over for a 1 count. The tag is made to Charlie Haas and Ortiz never returns. Truth beats Shelton with the lie detector. Appalling. Match 18. Oh wow. It's only 2 shows later. Ugh. Talking of 2, it goes 2 minutes. It's Ortiz versus Fit Finley. The highlight is Ortiz telling Finley to rally up. Finley hates this gimmick. I do too. Ortiz does a snap slam on the outside. It's sadly the highlight of this video. Finley ends it with the Celtic Cross. Moving on. Match 19. 5 shows later. Final match. Thank God, just put this guy out of his damn misery. The Great Khali versus Ricky Ortiz. Khali chops him in the head and hits the Punjabi plunge in 30 seconds for the 3. Game over. What an incredibly horrible run this was. They never made any effort to make him seem like a threat. The worst thing is, I think he did actually have some charisma in there, but instead he was just incredibly bland. He came off as a secret joke. It was like, yeah, this guy sucks, but he's got a cool towel. No, I didn't like this at all. He kept disappearing for 3 to 5 shows at a time. And I guess he was meant to be like a rip-off DDP with motivational speaking, but it didn't work. I guess that's what happens when they're not fully behind you in the company. So Towel Man is going to be shoved in the zone. There was just nothing to this run. At least some of the bad divas were nice to look at. I don't want to look at this guy ever again. And if you don't agree with that, it's not a matter of where, it's when.